Hey, we're live.
Hey,
Looks like we're live. Sorry, I'm a little late.
hey, everybody! We're live on Land Investing Pros, and today we are going to be talking about knowing whether or not land flipping is right for you. And all today is going to be about being in the right mindset in order to make deals. And so, Willie is the guy when it comes to mindset. He has made so many videos, lots of views on the videos about mindset, and I think mindset is really important. Because you can, it's really easy to get down. I don't know, we could just jump right into it. Hopefully some more people start coming on as we are live, and then those that are not live, this is something I'm sure people will come back and watch later, because this is a really, really important part that I feel not a lot of people are talking about. I think if you can control your mind and you can have a positive attitude and think about things in the right way, you're going to see a lot more success.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So I think there's a lot of things that make this a good fit for someone, and a lot of things that might make it not a good fit. So maybe we can, and for those of you who are tuning in, if you guys want to chime in with insights or questions, feel free. We love communicating with you guys. So feel free to ask any questions. We're happy to kind of give live feedback. But let's get into it. What do you say? So yeah, what are some things that you think of that make this maybe? Let's start with not a good fit for someone.
Not a good fit. I think this is not a good fit for someone that doesn't like taking this problem again where it doesn't show their name. I'm not sure. I think potentially if we're not from yours.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll figure it out.
So this is not. I think business in general is not for people that don't like to take risks. If you don't like taking risks, don't start a business. That would be the first thing I would say.
So I think that's a loaded statement, though, because you're saying don't take risks, but I think it's about changing your mindset about risk. Most people who are in a corporate job or who have a traditional 9 to 5 have a mindset about risk. In my view, this business is way less risky than having a corporate job, given that we're literally buying real assets at a hugely discounted rate and scaling that activity and just doing it again and again and again, which in my view is a very low risk activity. And I think one of the things that attracted you towards this niche is the low risk aspect of it. Wouldn't you say?
No, yeah, no. I mean, for sure, this business is low risk. I'm not saying that this is a high risk business, but I think any business, like if you're gonna stay there and not be willing to take a risk, like not that there's much risk involved with this business, but there's a risk in anything that you do. And so I think we need to back up for a second. So for someone to go and sit at home, go to their regular 9 to 5 job and not, and never take, by leaving their job, they're taking a risk. By doing this on the side, they're taking a risk of taking their money that they've earned from their job and doing something that's not 100% guaranteed. Well, even a job's not 100% guaranteed, but with a regular job, you have that paycheck that's coming every single week. And now you're taking that money and putting it towards something that you may lose if you buy the wrong thing. So yes, there's not much risk in this business, but there's still risk in any business that you do. And I think if you're scared to take any risk, you shouldn't start any type of business. I think you got to break through that first.
Yeah, so I think you and I are talking about the same thing, but what you're saying is for the person, in my view, what you're saying is the person who doesn't have follow through to actually go out and buy some property. And because I mean, from our point of view, if you kind of do it the way we think about it, there's very, very low risk of buying a property and something going wrong, because I mean, there's so much margin for error when we're buying these things. So I mean, if you go into this business and you commit to it and you actually buy a number of properties and you do kind of the things that you're supposed to do, there's really, really low risk. The only risk is that you get into it, you send out mail, some people call you, and then you're just not committed enough to actually follow through and purchase some property and then go through a full sales cycle, because the actual risk of buying these lots is very, very low. It's the only risk is that you spend some money in buy course, you spend some money on mail, you spend some money on your website, your Google Voice, all this setup. You set up an LLC, and then when it comes time to the seller's calling, you panic because you don't want to outlay a few $1,000s to buy a property, or even $1,000 to buy a property, or even $500 to buy a property, because you just get cold feet or something like that. So if you're not in the right mindset, I think that is a risk. But if you come at this with the mindset, hey, I'm going to make this work and I'm going to go knee deep and I'm going to figure it out no matter what, and you actually do go in and you do buy property, then I think the risk is actually really, really low. So I think it's just the mindset that you have when you're getting started, that you're just not fully committed to, just going, diving in with both feet and making this a business. Though, I mean, I think that's just the difference that we're saying. Like you're saying that there's a risk of losing money. In my view, there's very low risk if you go and you execute kind of on a in a big way.
Yeah. Well, I think I mean, so I guess we need to back up for this talk in general. Do you think are we talking specifically about starting a business or this business in general? I think that's where we kind of need to start the conversation at.
Well, the topic is, what is the topic? Why is land investing? Knowing whether or not land flipping is right for you.
Correct. Yeah. So I guess, are you ready? Like, I guess it depends on your goals, right? Like, if your goal is I want to quit my job and start a business, there's risk. If your goal is I want to make a little bit of extra money, your risk is you lose your capital versus you walk away from a job.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And for those of you who are listening in, if you guys have some concerns about this business or just getting started and you want to hear our perspective on risk, I think now would be a great time to get into that discussion.
Insane risks. And I know Garland's watching now. I think Garland takes the craziest risks out of any person I've ever met. Like insane risks that.
Why don't we talk about real risks compared to risks in this business? Yeah,
for sure. Why don't you start it off? I'm trying to get the Facebook settings so that we can see the commenters' names.
All right. Well, is it in the Facebook group? Can we pull it out of the Facebook group?
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, so those are Garland's. These are Garland comments.
Yeah. Comment, Garland. I know you're calling my phone right now, but I can't pick it up.
Why can't you pick it up?
I guess I can put it live on speaker. Put him on. Yeah. So this is the guy who takes.
Yeah, the guy calling in.
We got a long-time listener, first-time caller on here.
Yeah.
Hey, you're live on the air. We're talking about risk, and we know how much risk you take. Maybe you want to talk about risk for a little bit.
I can't.
Give some background on who Garland is. Garland, who are you?
I'm in a restaurant. Sorry, 1 second.
All right. I guess he's not. The caller has left the building.
Okay.
Okay. Here. Oh, maybe you fixed it. Spencer, what is the riskiest purchase you have made in the land business? Well, I feel like you have done riskier deals before we started. No, we've done some risky deals. I guess I'm taking a big risk right now. I could talk about the deal that I'm working on right now in Nevada.
Yeah, there you go. So let's get started with. I'll just say the only time I've taken risk in this business is when I've purchased a property north of $10,000. If I bought a property less than $10,000, call it $8,000. Anything I bought below $8,000, in my view, is very low risk because there's a lot of buyers at the price points of north of or south of like 30 grand. But when you get north of 30 grand, then people start doing a lot of diligence and things start to fall through. If you haven't dotted your T's, dotted your I's,
dotted your T's.
Yeah. So the only risky purchases that I've made have been really north of, call it, 8 grand, and so that's what I would say. Anything below them, I haven't really had any big issues. But what about you, Paul? What do you think some of the bigger? Yeah, why don't you talk about the deal you're working on right now?
Yeah, so we recently participated in a tax auction in Nevada, and we spent north of $100,000. Bought a bunch of parcels, I think 25 or 30 parcels, and one of the deals. So we said I'll spend up to $18,000 on this. It was basically it's a property in the downtown area. It's 2 acres next to like it's in a developing area, and we're like, wow, this is huge. This is awesome. And so I typically do that auctions. My dad is involved in the business as well. He kind of handles the auction side. We do a lot of auctions, and we do a lot of buying stuff on eBay. He does a lot of that. So I said 16,000, and he kept bidding it. We ended up buying a lot for 25,000, and I'm like, well, first he says, I'm just gonna bid this guy up. We're not gonna buy it. We get stuck with the lot at 25 grand, and I was very nervous about it. This lot's beautiful. It's got curbs already formed on there. It's got a fire hydrant. It's got electrical. It's got everything. So we're like, 25 grand, great. I'm like very certain we can sell it for $100,000. Well, we call some local realtors. This is really the only time we really work with realtors because we can just sell stuff really well on our own website. So call a realtor, and they're like, well, you need to get water rights for it. And then we look at the zoning, and it's zoned to be a park. Like, you can't even build on it. It's zoned as a park. So I've been working with like the city of Pahrump, with the properties in Nevada. I've been working with the city. We're working on getting it rezoned. They're going to be able to rezone it. But this is like a huge risk to like throwing 25 grand. We could have bought, call it what, 8 parcels at 3 grand. And we know we could flip each of those for 15 to 20 grand every time. But this property, you know, we're going to spend another $15,000 just on getting the water rights. And then we have to wait to get the property rezoned. And we'll be in at 40 grand. We'll probably sell it for $100,000 cash. But it's going to take a lot of time, effort. We're definitely learning a lot. It's way different than our normal business routine. We're going to make it work, but like that was a risk. We took a $25,000 risk, and we're learning a lot. The worst case is we break even on it, but we learned a bunch. So I would say like right now, that's the riskiest deal that we're even working on, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. We've had the only other risky purchase that I can think of is one where, again, like zoning issues came in, and there's like buildability issues came in. And that was, again, another lot that was, what do we spend, 15 grand on that?
That in-town one?
Yeah, the in-town one.
Yeah, so we bought a lot for $16,000 in town. And we had like a realtor go, and they're like, this isn't buildable. Another realtor's like, this isn't buildable. And Willie's like, who cares? Like, we're going to do it our way. And so we just put it on our website, and it sold within a month, and the person's happy with the lot. They're paying their monthly payments. And, you know, when a real estate says no, we say yes.
Yeah. I mean, as far as business models go, this could be the least risky business model of all time. Just because of the margin of error and the way how cheap we're sourcing these properties, and it's just real assets, and holding costs are so low. There's just so forgiving. It's such a forgiving niche. Yeah. So I mean, those are the risky deals. Anything. If you buy a property at south of 5 grand, you're like, the chances of you losing money are very, very, very small. If you do this the way that we go about it. So that's kind of my insight. So yeah, I think that hopefully that answers that question.
Yeah. Well, I think we can go deeper on the risk factor.
Yeah.
Talking about, well, let's compare this to Amazon. I know we do it all the time, but perfect example. Last week, so my business, I run a 7-figure Amazon business on the side. Or that's basically what I was doing before this. But this business is far more lucrative, far safer, far more scalable. And this is, you know, so that's my other business. And you know, we're doing pretty serious revenue on there. We have a large team of employees, and you're selling inventory that you don't have control of. So you buy the inventory, you send it to Amazon. It's sitting at their warehouses. Well, last week they decided to shut my account down but the algorithm flagged me for something that I didn't do. And so for 36 hours, my whole entire account was shut down. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't get my stock, and I had to basically rely on people, like random people that I just know at Amazon, to help me. And that doesn't have, like, that's huge risk. Like you're playing in someone else's sandbox, whereas land, you own everything. You own the property, you own the whole process of it. They can't, unless you don't pay your taxes, like someone can't come and say, well, we don't like what you put on your website, so we're taking your land back. Like with Amazon, if they don't like what you put on your listing, they can literally take your account away. It's insane. And like land, they literally can't take it away from you unless you don't pay your taxes.
Yep. All right. So you want to get in some? I think we got a few more questions here. You want to start answering them, and then maybe go back to the topic a little bit. How's that sound?
Yeah, this is an easy one. There's still properties that say Willie Goldberg.
Yeah. To be honest with you, this is like 2 years. 2 years taking it in my own name. I was like, what's an LLC? What's the purpose of an LLC? So yeah, I did it for a long time. So yeah, definitely do it on your first deal.
Do you have the names of the people?
Let's see.
I like. This is a pretty broad question, I guess.
Mark Barnes says, you got me doing a great job. Keep going. Great. Hell yes. Let's see. Robert George says, I've previously done prior coaching and Robert George says, I have previously done prior coaching with other groups and have not been able to scale. Any suggestions?
I believe there's two Roberts, one that emailed us today and one that just signed up. I'm not sure which Robert this is. But I feel like this is a good one for you to answer. I feel like you literally answered this question to someone today that called.
So I mean, the scaling piece is, I mean, it's really, I mean, for us, it's like you learn the fundamentals of doing it, and then most people, I would say, their bottleneck for scaling is, I don't know, it's either an issue of you not building the systems, or you running out of capital, or you not being able to sell property fast enough. So it's one of those three things. What we help people do in our course is we help people sell property fast. So and then we kind of give advice on how to kind of build systems and scale. If it's the third piece, you just got to hustle and find more money and structure deals with money partners. So I think those are the three bottlenecks to scaling. So from our system, I mean, what we really focus on is choosing good markets and making sure that you're choosing good areas, because that's fundamentally the most important thing as you're getting started as a land investor is, am I choosing a good market to invest in? Because that's how you're going to sell property. That's how you do your diligence on the front end. Then properties will sell. And the second thing that we do is we really focus on marketing and sales. And that's really how we differentiate our course, is we have mastered the sales marketing piece of this business. And that's how we sell property, and why we're able to, like, if you're posting on Craigslist, Facebook, Zillow, great. But if you're actually having a comprehensive process and a systematic way of selling property, then you're going to do very well. And that's really how we differentiate ourselves. And that's how we help our students. I would say that's how we help our students scale, by teaching them how to sell properties quicker, by focusing on their marketing and their website and their funnel, and doing everything properly, building their buyers list, focusing on email marketing, because those are really the important things that allow you to sell property.
This is great. Spencer just showed you how to. I'll put this link right here, or I guess if you guys can see that link, that's so we can see your name. Okay, so that was Robert. So Robert, or Bob, we're gonna call you tomorrow, Bob. Good to hear from you. So next we have good old Carlo, my neighbor in Florida, who I taught how to do the land business. This is the guy who I was boating with for the last 3 months every day. He said, have you guys ever purchased properties in the past under 10,000 that you've never been able to sell, and why? Willie, why don't you tell a few stories about some crazy properties that you've sold?
I've sold everything. There's only one property that I've been stuck on, and that was where it was a $30,000 property.
Is that the Northern Cali one?
Huh? Is that the Northern Cali one? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only one.
It's the only one. That was a mistake, but yeah, I mean, it's still in the market. That one will still make money on, but it's just taking forever to sell. But under 10 grand, everything sells. If you're selling anything under 25 grand, it'll sell, especially if you're offering owner financing. I've bought hills, I've bought mountains, I've bought accessless crap in the middle of nowhere. There's a buyer for everything under the 25 grand purchase price point, especially if you're offering terms. So I wouldn't worry about getting stuck with the property, and that was my main concern as I was getting started. The only issues you're going to have if you're really spending, just I guess if you're getting started, just make it a goal and a rule of thumb. Don't buy any property north of $10,000, and then you're going to be okay, because you will be able to get rid of everything, and nothing's going to sit in your inventory for too long. Especially just like if you're following guidance and you're buying at a discount, which is really, really big room for error. Like the biggest idiot on the planet. If you follow the system, like, and understand how to read comps, whether or not it's there's enough data points in the area where you're looking at comps to understand that, yes, I'm getting this at a discount and you're going to be able to sell it. So that's most people's fears when getting started. So I would just say, hopefully just try to alleviate those concerns and de-stress a little bit, because everything will sell. Just as you're getting started, don't buy anything north of 10 grand.
I think that's a pretty good rule of thumb.
Yeah, that answers Carlos' question.
Yeah. Why is it kind of keeps popping up? All right, so back to the topic of knowing whether or not land flipping is right for you. So I would say if you don't like taking risks, then land flipping is right for you. If you do like taking risks, do Amazon. Like if you like a lot of risk and stress and just not fun, sign up for Amazon.
Yeah.
Rule 2. What's rule 2?
Well, I guess I would say that it's not right for you if you're not willing to get a little bit uncomfortable, because while I suggest there's low risk, it is going to make you feel uncomfortable. So I think that's the distinction that we're kind of trying to make. So you're going to feel uncomfortable because you're spending money like you haven't before, buying property, buying assets that you haven't, like, that you don't really understand, and hoping that they're going to sell. So it's going to make you feel uncomfortable. If you dive in, it's going to be low risk. So I would say you wouldn't want to become a land investor or even an entrepreneur if you're not willing to be uncomfortable, at least for 6 months.
I think that's pretty fair. And then, yeah, let's see, what else would you say? I mean, here, how about this? You tried, when you first started, you tried out house wholesaling, you bought like a condo in Evanston, you bought, I don't know, you tried a bunch of stuff. How did you know that land was right for you? At what point did you realize, like, well, house wholesaling is not right for me? Trying to buy a condo, like, what can you walk through that and how that iteration happened?
Yeah, so I was just like, I was at a corporate job looking for niches and things to do. Googled for ways to make money online, and that kind of started my search. I found real estate. I found like Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. And so I went down the rabbit hole of like trying to understand how I can do something that's active, that makes sense. And so there's a million things that you can do, and you have to, like, it's just like land investing. You got to look at a million deals before you know what a good deal is, right? So I looked at a million different things that I could do until I finally figured out what made sense and what business model had really good fundamentals that would allow me to quit my job and grow and scale a business. So I started looking into real estate because it sounded like there's a lot of people making money in real estate. So I spent a lot of time looking at niches on online marketing, and I think I browsed Amazon for a little bit, but I didn't spend too much time on it. And then I found real estate, and then, like, all right, I figured real estate was lower risk because you're buying real assets. And I mean, clearly there's a lot of people making a lot of money with real estate. That's just very, very clear. There's no ambiguity there. People are 100% making a lot of money with real estate. And so I was like, all right, why don't I try to figure out how to do this? And then browsing every single niche in real estate, I was like, all right, which ones are active strategies that I could actually do today to kind of quit my job? And then that's how I narrowed in on house flipping, house wholesaling. And then I eventually found land investing. I didn't hear about it, didn't understand it first, because there's no one really doing it. There's not a lot of people talking about it. And so I dug into house flipping and house wholesaling, and house flipping immediately became like a complete, like, didn't make any sense. A lot of capital, a lot of risk, a lot of management of contractors and uncertainty with the market and ARV and repair costs. So there's a lot of risk with that. House wholesaling seems like a low risk option, and it is a low risk option. It's just so much competition, and you have to go on site to the house. It's very time consuming. Got to do cold calling, got to drive for dollars, and you got to go out to the property. So like it's just inherently hard to do. Land investing, by comparison, is way different. So you don't need to cold call. You don't need to drive for dollars. So it's way less time intensive. Direct mail works very well. The margins are silly with land. We're buying these things at 15 cents in the dollar, selling for 80 to 90 cents in the dollar. And house wholesaling, you're probably buying it at 60 to 70 cents in the dollar, selling for 80, 90 cents. So margins in land investing are way better. Coming from a finance background, that really made me excited. And then the biggest thing for me was I could do it all behind a computer screen. And so I didn't have to go on site to the properties. And so I really found three niches that made sense. And by far in real estate, and by far the one that made the most sense for one who's looking to get started was land investing, for those reasons. So I think if you're in a corporate job, you're looking for a way to get out, and you're looking for something you can do remotely. You're looking for something low risk. I mean, it seems like a no-brainer. It's just you got to commit to it, because I think just fundamentally, if you're going to consider wholesaling, house flipping, or land investing, I truly believe that it is absolutely a no-brainer. You could literally choose the best markets in the country and just do it all behind a computer screen. Whereas like house wholesaling, you're stuck in whatever market you're currently in. And you could do it remotely and you could do it virtually, but it just doesn't make that much sense. It's harder to do. So yeah. So most people don't understand land investing. If you can understand it, you can buy in, and you understand the fundamentals that I'm like speaking of, they make sense to you, then land investing is probably right for you if you can get around the barrier of, I'm buying a vacant lot out in the middle of nowhere. But the way we teach it, we're not really buying in the middle of nowhere. We're buying where there exists a market, and you're choosing the best markets in the country to do it, because you could select those. Then if you can get behind buying property that you don't really understand, vacant land, it's not something you're used to buying. It's not something you've lived on or owned in the past, and you're willing to jump in. You understand these fundamentals are better, then I think land investing could be right for you.
I think that's a really good way to summarize it up. I like this.
JJ, what if I'm trying to buy land in another country to build on? Yeah, so we don't teach buying land in other countries. However, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Dealing with the counties might be a pain in the butt, but it's not impossible. You could certainly do it.
I know that they have data on data tree in Jamaica, but I don't know what their county information is providing. But if you try it and it works, let us know, because that's pretty interesting. We just go where the data is.
Yeah, we love the data. Big data guys. Big data guys. So we got Spencer asking, have you ever attempted cold calling or SMS marketing for land? I understand that direct mail works well for you, but what are your thoughts on cold calling and SMS texting? You want to talk about the cold calling?
Yeah, so
it might seem out of the blue, but some land.
Our script was literally, we downloaded thousands of records from data tree, and then we cross-referenced them with some.
This is like the first couple of weeks of me and Paul doing this. We're like, oh my God, let's start cold calling in our market, in one of our markets.
Yeah, and so we did a skip trace or whatever, and it matched almost every number. We paid for this software that the house wholesalers use, where it calls a bunch of people at once. We threw our cowboy hats on, legit wore cowboy hats, got on the phone. I think we bought maybe within the first hour, we had people that wanted to sell their lot.
No, we bought. There was a Stephen Gordon lot.
Oh, really? That's where Stephen Gordon lot came from?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, we got some good deals, and it was really easy. It just took up our time.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, it works. It works, but mailing is way more efficient.
Yeah, it works, and it works very well, and it's way easier to do for land than it is for houses. but it just takes up your time, and it's like, why do you need to spend the time when mail works just so well?
Stick with the mail.
Yeah, stick with the mail. It works, but you can stick with the mail.
JJ says, I've been following your channel, so I'm trying to piece all together to get started. Thanks for answering. JJ, our course basically puts everything together and does it step by step, but we're happy to answer any questions you have here. So love to have you. I don't know, Willie, if you want to talk about that for a minute. There's, it's very laid out and like.
Yeah. If you're interested in more about our course, you can find more information on landinvestingpros.com. We've got a complete webinar on there that details a lot of our business and what we do. So
check out our webinar. It kind of goes through it in more detail.
Yeah.
Other good comments. Not many more comments coming in. You want to wrap it up shortly?
Sure. Yeah, we could wrap it up. Any final thoughts on those thinking about getting started in land investing?
Do it. I wish I did it 3 years ago instead of, well, Amazon's great sometimes, but I probably would have done this instead 4 years ago when I started. So do it.
Yeah. So I think it's great. You just gotta, us telling you that this is a great niche is not gonna make you think it's a great niche. You've gotta look and dig and find and try to find all the niches out there in real estate and beyond. And then once you understand, okay, these are the things that I can do to get started, start my own business today. Hopefully you will also agree that land investing, fundamentally, the fundamentals behind it are better than other niches. So we feel that way. Hopefully you can find that as well. Love your model, current wholesaler, how to pivot.
Mike Stacks is his name.
Mike Stacks. Yeah. So we've had a lot of people who started in house wholesaling transition, and like you've got a lot of the skills, you understand the business model. It's the same business model, it's a different asset. So if you've only done a couple of deals, I don't see a reason why I would, if I were a house wholesaler, I would just like drop everything and be like, all right, I understand the process. I've learned a lot. Sunk cost. I'm going to get started and land investing because there's way less competition, way bigger margins. We could choose the best markets in the country and do it all behind a computer screen. And for me, it would be a no-brainer. I would start learning land investing, and then you've learned a ton, sunk cost, and move forward.
Yeah, I'm guessing this is him again. Yeah, 100%. You're going to make way more money. There's no competition. It's just way more scalable. Go check out our webinar, Mike. Check out our webinar at landinvestingpros.com, and you'll never look back. I promise you. He says he's going to email us. Cool.
Yeah, you can email me, Willie at landinvestingpros.com.
Let's see. Here's a quick final question. Just got to the chat. How much realistic do I need to start?
So we suggest $5,000 in acquisition budget. You could buy 10 properties at $500 a piece. We think it's important to buy a number of different properties and get some deal experience rather than buying one lot and just putting all your eggs in one basket. So we'd recommend $5,000 at minimum acquisition budget. You could use other people's money, but I think that's probably realistic to get started. And then spend another $1,000 on marketing or so, marketing and business setup. So maybe $6,000 total. That would be my advice.
And I would say like someone like Mike, and then Bob, we're talking to Bob tomorrow. If you are interested in getting into land investing, maybe you're a current house wholesaler, maybe you're a land investor and it's not working, and you're interested in working with us, you can send us an email to set up a call to talk about what your current situation is and how we can potentially help you. Bob's talking tomorrow. Mike, we'd love to speak with you as well. So just go to landinvestingpros.com or you can PM me or Willie, and we'd love to speak with you.
So that's it, man. Paul's got the Hancock in the background.
Yeah, Mike's in. Yeah,
Chicago.
Yeah,
Hopefully he's sold. Hopefully you're sold, Mike.
Not a fake background. This is my views from my apartment.
Paul's chilling.
And you got little weird pictures in your background.
Yeah, they're good. There's a picture. Back left, top left is a picture of you, and the others are just animals.
On that note, we are signing off. For those of you that are in our paid group, we'll be going live tomorrow at 3. And we'll be going over. Last week we did how to do your first deal step by step. I'm not sure what the topic is tomorrow. We'll have to look. So please tune in tomorrow in our paid private group if you are a member of the land flipping formula. And we'll see you next week. Same time, same place.
All right. Thanks, everyone.